Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Introvert Dating Success Show, courtesy of introvertdatingsuccess.com. I'm your coach, Harry Wilmington. This is the show, and that is the website where you can go to learn how to date as your authentic, introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. And on today's show, I want to answer a question from a guy who has a question about flaking. Specifically, if and when a girl either flakes on you or doesn't do something she said she was going to do, should you call her out on it or should you just let it slide? And just based on this guy's scenario, there's a few things I want to go over in terms of the reasons why women flake, as well as what you're doing that results in them flaking in the first place and how you can change that. So we'll get into that. As always, for more of these shows, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com. You can become a subscriber on YouTube, and you can also find us on iTunes as well. If you join us on Patreon at patreon.com/introvertdatingsuccess and become a member, then you can get access to these shows a week before anybody else. You can also show support for this show by clicking on the tip jar tab at the website. And if you have any questions you want answered on one of these shows, you can write to me by clicking on the contact tab at the website. Be sure to go to the website also to preview some of my awesome eBooks, as well as the video coaching that I have on how the type of messages to send to women on dating apps that will get them to respond. Lastly, I recently released to the public the archives of my previous show, the Stop Losing Women podcast. It's over 400 shows and 144 hours of content that is all designed to help you figure out how to become more self-confident, be a better dater, and ultimately how to land and keep the woman of your dreams. A lot of great insights on that show, a lot of great interviews, so you can check that out at the website as well. And be sure you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com/SLW to see the shows that are available in that, as well as get a preview of 5 of the shows that are all there for you to listen to. So check that out as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to this guy's message. So it goes a little something like this. He says, let's suppose a girl flakes on you. In other words, she tells you she'll call you when she gets back from some event so you can meet up, and then doesn't. When you next chat with or see the girl, do you call her out on this or not? My usual way to react to this is to just ignore it, even if her flaking inconveniences me. In my frame of mind, I'm just so happy I'm getting to see her again that I don't care that she flaked last time. More recently, I just don't want to come across as really caring that she flaked. However, I'm wondering if there's a better way to deal with flaking. Should I immediately make some comment when I next hear from or see her? Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. It's a short message, but there's definitely a lot going on here. So I'll just deal with it in parts. So the first part where he talks about the situation where, for example, a girl tells you she's going to call when she gets back from something so you can meet up, and then she doesn't. Okay, so for starters, understand this, is that as the guy, it is your job to make sure that the scenario for you getting to meet her is one that is as solidified as possible. So that means you can neither set up or be accepting of setups that would be indicative of a potential flaking, okay? So for example, with this girl, let's say she goes to some event and she says, oh, but I'll hit you when you get back, or when I get back from it, or whatever. That leaves you now in a position where you have to wait for her to contact you. And in this kind of scenario, if she doesn't contact you back, you don't have a reason as to why. Because it could have been that she has low interest, or it could be something where, like, she goes to an event that says she's going to be done with it by like 8 p.m. and then it ends up being a thing where she has to be held and it goes over to like midnight. Well, I was growing up and taught to believe that after 11 o'clock, people are generally asleep and don't want to be bothered. So she might have thought she was going to see you, and then she goes to this event that goes over, and by the time she gets out, she's thinking, darn it, it's too late to contact him. I don't want to be rude and wake him up if he's asleep. Or if I text him, he's going to get that ding on his phone, and then he'll be annoyed that he woke up. So I'll just wait to contact him some other time. I won't talk to him now about coming over because it's too late. Okay? The point is, you don't know, because the scenario was set up to where you accepted a situation where you'd have to wait. And I'm not a fan of that for you guys, okay? Especially as an introvert, it's like your time is already valuable enough. You're already thinking like, man, like I'm trying to schedule part of my day so I can still have my alone time, but also see her. And she's saying she's going to be apt to see me later. So let me spend my day getting my energy together to be able to hang out with her, only for it not to happen. So in this particular type of situation, when a girl's like, hey, I'm going to some event or whatever, but I'll hit you up later, I don't accept that. I take it off as a loss, because the best thing you can do for your dating life is not set up scenarios where it's a maybe. So she might be able to hit you up later. She might be able to hang out with you later. Don't accept those. If women say something like this, like, oh, I'm going to something, but I'll hit you up later, a lot of times it's her nice way of saying, I really can't see you today, but I don't want to make it look like you're an inconvenience for this happening. So I'm going to set something up where I can bail out later than just say, oh, I fell asleep or whatever. So don't even accept those. If she has something already planned on the day that you're trying to hang out with her, then you say, hey, you know what? That's cool. Enjoy the event. And we can just set up something some other time. That way you're not wasting your time by sitting around all day waiting for her. And you're not going to get mad at her if she flakes later, which she might do by accident. Okay. So that's the first part. But with that said, here's how, just based on my dating experience, here's what I have come to understand is that women who have a high interest in you will always stand by what they said they're going to do for you. So if she says she's going to contact you, I don't care if it's midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, even if it's just her sending a text saying, hey, the thing ran over, I'll text you tomorrow. Typically, they're going to reach out if they have high interest. If it's a girl that you just met and you just started dating her, or you're just starting to kind of feel each other out, her interest might not be at a level where she would even think that you would be mad at her if she didn't contact you right away. But again, that just means she doesn't have high interest. Now, could it build up into high interest later? It could. But the point is that women that have high interest, if they're highly interested, they're trying to make sure that they keep you around. So they're going to do things that make sure that you know that they're continually interested, including keeping their word on contacting you. And I think guys have a hard time comprehending this because their ego does not want them to believe that a sweet, kind girl that was showing interest in them could suddenly be doing things that aren't doing that. Because once we have a girl that we think is interested, it's really hard to be like, oh, she's suddenly not interested. Like, that's not possible. She was texting me regularly and we went on a couple of dates and it's cool, but now she's flaking. Nah, it's not that she doesn't like me. Something else wants to come up. And the more that you fight dating reality, the less likely you are to be able to eventually find somebody that's worth your time because you're so busy stuck on trying to convince a person now that they should be doing things that show they like you. Women don't need convincing. If a woman likes you and you're like relatively doing the right things in terms of like you're asking her out on dates and you're showing a good time and you're treating her well, then she's going to reach out. And if you're not reaching out to her, she's going to try to text you to make sure that you know she's in the area. And if you're not the one calling first to set up dates, she's going to be the one behind the scenes trying to plan some stuff. And when an event comes up, she'll say, hey, I wanted to go out with you this day. This event came up last minute, but let's do something some other time. Like they're going to throw out a counter offer. So if the girl's not doing that, then that just means her interest level is not high in you, at which point you need to decide if that's worth something worth you pursuing to try to make higher, or if you just say, you know what, let me just read the situation for what it is. She didn't contact me back, so that means there's not a high interest. That's fine. And honestly, in the beginning, you should be trying to date like 3 or 4 girls anyway, because it'll leave you detached to this kind of outcome. So if this girl decides she doesn't want to hit you up, it's like, well, A, I didn't plan my whole day around this happening, and B, she didn't show up. Okay, I got somebody else I can call. But something like this is not something that you should be having a lot of focus on. You know what I mean? Like, if she's not texting you back, it sucks that she's not. But you got to understand that you are a prize. You are worthy of somebody treating you with respect. And honestly, if this girl's flaking, there's another girl that you're probably not even aware of that would have easily just been like, hey, either I'll cancel going to the event, or I'll shorten my time at the event to spend time with you, or I really can't make it, but I'm going to reserve the next day for us because I really do want to spend time with you. So don't get yourself in that trap of letting your ego think that, oh, she just didn't call because X, Y, and Z. Now, as for the aspect of calling a girl out on this stuff, in my dating past, I have found that doesn't really work too well because women are always going to, for them, it's emotional. And they're going to start throwing emotion into the argument that's going to make them win it, even if you're the one that's making all the good points. So, for example, if this girl comes back and he's like, hey, so you didn't hit me up the other day. Oh, well, the event ran over. And he's like, yeah, but you could have contacted me. And then she'll be like, oh, well, I was really tired and just, it was really draining to be at the event this time. I can't believe you don't understand that. Why can't you just see that I was tired and I just, absentmindedly forgot. Like, I didn't mean to, but whatever. Like, it starts getting emotional to where now you can't fight it. So you can play call-out behavior all day if you want to. And I see a lot of guys that try to do this or try to rationally explain to women why their actions were hurtful and blah, blah, blah. And there's ways you can do that, but overall I find it's not the most effective thing to do, especially if it's a one-time thing. I typically say, if a girl does an action one time, everybody's going to mess up at some point. So you got to give them the benefit of the doubt on that first one. If it becomes a consistent behavior, that's the point where you decide either you just want to get out altogether or you can just kind of fall back. And if you fall back, that's a more powerful way of letting a girl know that her behavior is not acceptable, because you could try to argue it with her, or you could just fall back, and then she's like, hey, you don't hit me up as much as blah, blah, blah. You could just be like, oh, well, you know what? I realized that you were really busy and it seemed like you weren't able to make our date. So I just said, okay, maybe it is what it is. And I checked out and I'm, talking to other people now. And she might get a little mad at that, but she needs to know realistically that if she's going to be messing around, that you have options. And a lot of this is a front to showing women that it's not just that you're just after her, that she's your only option, because women somehow feel like there's a lot of pressure on them to have to be with you if it's just them in the beginning. But if you're able to kind of casually say like, oh, you were busy, so I planned something with somebody else. Like in this case, I would have been like, if she'd got back to me, oh, I'm sorry I didn't hit you back, this and that. I'd be like, it's okay, I made other plans, so I'm good. I keep it very vague, just like that. Well, other plans, what are the plans? I just made other plans that night. So, well, what were they? Well, you weren't there, so it didn't matter what they were, but you're here now, what's up? So just giving her those indicators that you are not tied or attached to the outcome of how she is, like that, like what she does is not going to affect you. And that can be a more effective way of getting her right to where she's going to start making sure that she doesn't flake, or at the very least texting you if she has to, and being more respectful of your time. Because all this is ultimately about respect. And a woman needs to know that your time is something that needs to be respected. You're already trying to get your alone time. You're already trying to spend time doing things that make you pleased, and you're trying to have a life that's not full of conflict and full of drama. So you need to let her know early on, by way of your actions, that this drama will not be accepted. But you do that better through actions than you do just saying, I don't like that, and that's respect, blah, blah, blah. Because you can do that, but most women I find, at least in my dating life, don't tend to take that well and will actually start losing interest for you real fast. Now, it might have been on the low end to begin with, so it makes it a lot easier, but if you're able to just pull back and be more patient, just kind of let her know, hey, you weren't there, so it is what it is. I did some other stuff, but what's good now, then you have a better shot at getting the reaction that you want. So hopefully you find this to be helpful. If you found this information to be of service to you, you can go to the website, click on the tip jar tab, and show your support that way. You can also become a loyal patron on Patreon, where you'll get access to these shows a week before anybody else. If you are interested in doing some paid one-on-one phone consultation coaching, I am definitely up for that. You can go to the website, click on the coaching tab, and we can set something up so I can help you out. In the meantime, go to the website, check out previews of my eBooks. Be sure to check out the video training about the type of messages to send to women that will get them interested. And of course, you can gain access to my previous show, the Stop Losing Women podcast, by way of either a monthly subscription or by a one-time fee. But it's over 400 shows, 144 hours of content that is going to definitely help you out in terms of getting you where you need to be in your dating journey. All right. If you have any questions you want answered on one of these shows, you can write to me by going to the website and clicking on the contact tab, or by writing me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. I'm Harry Wilmington, and I will catch you all on the next show. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I will catch you all next time. Peace.